Scavengers Reign is a semi-new adult animated sci-fi show. So this show originally came out on HBO Max October of last year, and it seemingly didn't do very well. There was a lot of people who watched it. You know, if you're a part of the animation community, you probably saw a lot of people talking about it and just saying how good it was. Me personally, I didn't see it at the time. I don't have HBO Max. I'm not a fan of their service. But it recently came out on Netflix, and I decided to check it out because it just got so much praise. And I was happy to find out that it's a very good series, and I'm hoping it gets a second season, which I'll talk about a little bit more in the video. So this show follows several people who have crash landed on this like beautiful but deadly planet, and we follow their journey as they try to survive and hopefully find a way off the planet. So I'm not gonna go too into spoilers right now, but we follow a few sets of characters: Ozzy and this robot, this helper robot, Sam, who was the captain of the ship that crashed. It was a cargo ship, and Ursula, who was I'm not sure what her job was. I think she was a biologist or something aboard the ship. And Cayman, who is he's kind of on his own for a good while of this show, and has a lot of issues. I'll talk more when I get into spoilers. So this is, like I said, it's a very good show. It's beautifully animated. I think it's very creative for a sci-fi show. It doesn't really focus too much on sci-fi technology. It's there. You know, they have cool spaceships, they have robots, you know, all the standard stuff you see on sci-fi, you know, space shows or movies or whatever. But the thing that makes it a little bit unique is that a lot of the sci-fi stuff comes from the planet and the creatures and the plants on it. They're very unique and very organic, a lot of the times coming off as kind of techno-organic in my opinion. And like I said, a lot of the stuff is very beautiful but also very deadly, which to me is one way to describe the show, or the entire theme of the show. You know, nature is very beautiful, but it can also be very dangerous and deadly. Even with the opening theme song, you get that theme. It's like this beautiful song as we watch the spaceship just kind of crash and explode, and a few escape pods come out from the spaceship. And again, it shows this. It has this very beautiful music, but this is horrific scene essentially happening at the same time, which I absolutely love and hits the theme of the show perfectly in my opinion. Like I said, it's a fantastic show. Great animation. It's very well thought out. I like the characters. We get to know a good amount about these characters and their journeys and who they were a little bit before they got stuck on the planet and their journey through it. So I would give this show a 9 out of 10. I really want to talk spoilers. I do recommend you go check it out on Netflix. It just came out, and I don't think it's doing as good as it should be. HBO Max originally greenlit the pilot or the show, but they canceled it after the first season, and Netflix picked it up with the potential that they would approve a second season, which I really hope happens, because there is kind of a little bit of a cliffhanger at the end, and I would love to see what happens to these characters and everything with a second season, hopefully, or maybe even just a movie if that's all they're willing to give them. So like I said, this is a 9 out of 10 show. Extremely fantastic. If you're tired of adult animated shows just being pure comedy, I think this is definitely a show you need to check out and support. I love animated shows. I have no problem with adult animated comedies. I just wish we had a little bit more variety. And we are getting it a little bit here and there, you know, action shows, sci-fi shows and everything like that. But they don't do as good as those shows. They don't get super long seasons. So definitely support this if you want to see more of shows like this. And if you're just a fan of sci-fi, it's very interesting to check it out. So like I said, 9 out of 10, fantastic show, great animation, great characters, great story, just fantastic all around. So spoilers. So like I said, we follow more or less 3 sets of survivors. Ozzy and Levi, a robot. And so I'm going to talk about each of their journeys like really quick, without giving too much away, but enough that it spoils some stuff. So be warned. 5, 4, 3, 2, 1. Spoilers. So Ozzy and Levi are together for a while. They crash landed, and they're doing pretty well at first. But this fungus has gotten onto Levi, which has made it sentient. Like it starts thinking and having emotions and dreaming and everything like that. And Levi is kind of confused at first because, or not Levi, Ozzy is kind of confused at first because she sees Levi just pondering or just drifting out into thought, and she's just like, what's going on with you? You know, robots don't do this. And Levi is kind of like this closed off, distant type person. When we get flashbacks of her, she doesn't really connect with a lot of people. She's kind of a loner and everything. But as she journeys with Levi as they try to get to their ship, which lands on the planet, she sees it and she, you know, is trying to get to the ship. She connects with Levi and really cares about this being. But as the show goes on, Levi is destroyed by this psychic creature who is with Cayman, another survivor, which I'll get into in a little bit. And it absolutely crushes Ozzy. But she eventually runs into these scavengers, these people who get a message from her, and there's 3 of them, and they come down to the planet to pretty much steal all the cargo and everything, but their ship gets destroyed. So they team up with Ozzy at first to be like, well, you take us to the ship, we'll take all the cargo, and we'll just take you and all the survivors who are still on the ship off the planet. And she's like, okay, that's a deal. And we follow her journey as she gets on the ship, and she learns that these 3 people aren't really trustworthy. And one of them, I believe his name is Nathan, dies on the way there. So there's only 2 left. There's this boy, who I can't remember his name, who is very good-natured, but he is kind of being manipulated by these people to turn kind of bad. So they eventually get to the ship, and there's this big conflict that, you know, the pirate lady, I'm going to call her pirate even though she's not a pirate, she doesn't want to save them. She just wants to take all the stuff and leave. And she says that, oh, it's going to help our people and everything. But it's very clear that she's not a good person. She's just out for herself. So it causes this conflict, which attracts the attention of that big psychic alien that has been just going around being complete evil. I hate this creature. And she gets away with the escape ship, and Ozzy stays behind to fight this alien and save the people who are dying slowly because they're in cryo chamber. So I'm going to skip around a little bit until all these characters kind of meet up at the end point. So next one I'm going to talk about is Cayman. As I mentioned before, he's with this little alien. His escape pod gets stuck in a tree, and then around all these little psychic aliens, and they use their psychic powers to control people to pretty much bring him food and everything like that. And there's this little one who's just bullied by these other big psychic aliens, but he eventually sees Cayman in the escape pod, and just like thinks, oh, this is a big creature that I can control and manipulate. So it frees him from the escape pod and then uses him to, you know, kill other creatures on this planet to feed it. And it slowly gets bigger and bigger to the point where it absorbs Cayman. So Cayman is just kind of depressed. The accident of why the ship crashed on the planet is because of him. So he messed up on their flight plan. He's their cartographer, or whatever the heck you call it, flight planner. He set a bad course, and it was going to get him fired, so he adjusted it to pass this sun, which he was told not to because it could be dangerous, and it turned out to be dangerous. But he secretly does it, and it does make the ship crash. And his girlfriend, who he convinced to go on this trip because he hoped they would save the relationship, is stuck in the ship, and he gets in an escape pod just as she gets there, and he launches. So he kind of just sees her just kind of banging against the glass, being stuck in the ship, and she ends up dying aboard the ship. But the alien connects with Cayman a lot because he sees his memories, and they kind of become one being for a time. And they're just going around killing any humans because the alien doesn't like the other humans because he thinks it's going to take Cayman away. And eventually he runs into Ozzy and Levi, which the alien ends up destroying Levi, like I said. And it eventually ends up at the spaceship at the big conflict where it's trying to kill Ozzy and the other humans who are there. And it's destroying the ship at the same time, which is, gonna kill the other people in cryostasis. And then we have Sam and Ozzy, Ursula, not Ozzy, who are also making their way there. They have a kind of a conflicting relationship, but as they slowly go through this journey, they become closer together. But through the journey, Sam gets infected by this parasite that's keeping him alive, but it's slowly changing him and making him do weird and crazy things and making him want to infect Ursula. So they go through their journey, and when they get to the ship, Sam is just like, Ursula, you gotta go on your own. I just wanted to make sure you made it. And he ends up destroying the parasite, which ends up killing him. And Ursula goes to the ship, and this is where she meets. Well, she doesn't meet it. There's a few more things, but she ends up connecting with the other humans as they try to save the people in cryostasis. And Ozzy is fighting off the big monster alien thing. I think it's called the Hollow. And eventually, Levi comes back in a techno-organic body. The parasite that had gotten in the robot Levi turned it into another being, essentially. So it was able to rebuild itself and come back to life, and is pretty much does this psychic connection with the alien, which makes it revert back to a smaller size and save Cayman. But like I mentioned before, the evil pirate lady leaves with the escape pod, and Ursula, Ozzy, and the boy who was part of the pirate crew is able to save a lot of the people, survivors from the spaceship. And it flashes forward I think a month or two, and they have a little colony on the planet just kind of surviving. And then the big end credit teaser cliffhanger is that the pirate lady who escaped the planet gets found by this big spaceship, this weird spaceship of people, and they find a little Levi in there, because Levi is able to reproduce and create little versions of itself now, organic ones. It's something we see at the end. And that's where it kind of ends. The people are just stuck there, and then I'm assuming the people who found the little Levi alien and the pirate lady are going to probably go back there because they're interested in it. But we'll see. That is only going to happen if it gets a second season. But like I said, this is a good, fantastic show. It does a good job with the story and everything. It's 12 episodes long. I'm doing a disservice by just quickly telling you a synapse. But it's a very good, interesting story. Like I said, I recommend you checking it out. It's on Netflix now. The sooner you watch it, the better, in the hopes that maybe it gets a second season. Like I said, it's not looking too good. I don't even think it's on the top 10 on TV shows on Netflix right now. I could be wrong. Maybe it changed, but when I checked on Sunday, it wasn't. So hopefully people do watch the show. It's good, and I do recommend it. A 9 out of 10. So if you watched it, what did you think? Did you like it? Did you hate it? Let me know in the comments below. As always, thank you for watching. Like and subscribe, and I'll catch you in the next one. Peace out.